468 days has come and gone since Boston College new head coach Bob Thompson patrolled the touchline in a competitive environment. He'll get it tonight in the ACC spring opener versus the 6th-ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Kyle Bond alongside Ty Collins. Delighted you guys can join us here on the ACC Network. Coach Thompson took over officially for his former coach Ed Kelly in January of 2020. Kyle, it's March 6, 2021. And the Thompson era has finally begun.
It's funny, Ty. We might sit here and lament the lack of competitive environment for a new regime, but we talked to Coach Thompson, and he called it an advantage. You know how crazy and high stress the life of a college head coach is, but he was thankful for the ability to come into a new program, take a breath, get to know the guys, and build something with a little time. Now he gets to put that plan to the test, the bedrock of his plan, an experienced back line.
Experience at the back for the visitors, however rusty they may be, but for the hosts, some fresh blood will be leaned on heavily. 6 Deacons are off to the pros. Enter stage left, highly recruited freshman Jelani Forbes.
Yeah, Ty, this Wake Forest team is brutally banged up at the moment, which gives young guys like Jelani Forbes a chance to make an impact, not just in practice or in the locker room, but also on the field. Last time out, his first goal in his first start for Wake was the winner. Fellow debutant Cole McNally with the shutout between the sticks as well in the win over Davidson. Now a big game tonight. It's the home conference opener here in the spring semester.
Very limited tickets were in high demand tonight. Eagles and Deacons next. We're back here at Spry Stadium on the campus of Wake Forest. It's Boston College, like we said in the open, 468 days since they have played. This is how they'll line up in a 3-5-2. A lot of young and some veterans on this team. The sophomores up front with Sigurdarsson and Susky up top. Sigurdarsson did have 2 goals against Wake Forest in 2019. For Wake Forest, they will be going with a lot of young blood. So many young blood. I mean, only 2 juniors will be starting. All the rest, freshmen and sophomores. McNally, the redshirt freshman, in the net for his second start. You'll see Chase Oliver gets his first start. When we saw Chase Oliver, he played against Pittsburgh in an exhibition game. He scored 2 goals, did flips, and he really showed out for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons fans. They are excited about number 3-4 and number 14 on the other side.
Yeah, a couple of freshmen there on the wings, flanking Kyle Holcomb, a junior, like you mentioned, one of the few in that lineup. Kyle Holcomb could become the 20th or the 21st. No, sorry, the 20th Wake Forest player with 20 goals in his career tonight.
I may add, Kyle, that when Wake Forest lost to Boston College in Newton, Mass. in 2019, head coach Bob Thompson was the acting kind of head coach in that particular game. So he is actually undefeated against the Demon Deacons. That's something that Coach Muse immediately told me. Said Coach Thompson has had some good luck against his Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Now, in that game, the center backs for that game were inexperienced. Eddie Folds was playing the center back position because DeShields was out. So there was some change of the guard. They were not quite up to their normal roster, but then again, Wake Forest is never really is. Because so many parts off to the pros, and then some injuries. You'll see Garrison Tubbs not playing tonight. He is injured. So Prince Mpansa, a very young Prince Mpansa, at 17 years old, is starting at the center back position, along with his big brother in soccer ranks, Nico Benalcazar. They both play for NYCFC.
Yeah, and Coach Muse will tell you, hey, that's not an excuse, right? We got to be able to have the next guy up and still maintain our high level of expectations. And there's a lot of expectations for those young guys, Oliver, Forbes, Mpansa, McNally, all over the lineup.
Chase Oliver on the right side. Here he is, number 3-4. And it'll be deflected out by Will Jock, the transfer from Duke. This kid has waited about 4 years to play. 2 years he was injured at Duke. Then he came to Boston College, sat out a year, and then COVID hit. So he had to wait some more time, and now he finally gets on the pitch.
Yeah, and he's playing a little closer to home now, a Massachusetts product that started out at Duke, just had some tough luck. He is part of a very experienced back line that this Wake Forest team will have to contend with all evening. You got Jacques, obviously not a ton of on-field playing time, but as a fifth-year senior, you get what you get from a guy that experienced, and then his two center back partners. Oh,
and a first chance with Benal Kassar with his hands on his mouth saying, how close was that? I don't think he was ready for that.
What a save, though, here by Christian Garner. Experience there as well, just tips it over the bar. That was headed for the underside of the crossbar, and an early opener. How that got through the BC back line, I have no idea, but the ball just ended up squirting through to Benal Kassar.
Garner, cat-like reflexes there. I think he was surprised Benal Kassar was a foot away from him.
The last time this BC team played was all the way back in 2019, like you mentioned, Ty. That was a 2-0 loss to Washington in the NCAA tournament. This man, Christian Gardner, was fabulous in that game. He made 6 stellar saves in a game that BC was outshot 24-5, and they needed Gardner just to make it or keep it at 2-0.
He had 54 saves in 2019. The save percentage just about under 80%. He's back, an experienced back line for Coach Thompson and the Eagles.
Yeah, I want to touch on that back line a little bit because it's notable. David Longo and Victor Souza, two guys in center back for BC. Longo, a redshirt senior since his sophomore year in 2018, started every game and has played 3,252 of 3,257 possible minutes. Just missed 5 minutes on the field in 2 years. He started every game last year, and so did Victor Souza. Those two guys have played together a ton, and that's so important, not just to get experience on the back line, but experience together. That is very, very important.
Souza had high praise from his coach as he is destined to go to the next level professionally. The ball trickles over to Cole McNally. A redshirt freshman at 6'4", 220 pounds from Mount Airy, Maryland. Alan Rula, the outside back for Coach Muse. Very limited amount of players here for Wake Forest, team that was very deep in the fall. 10 players left from the fall, either graduation or went off to the pros, the most of any team in the country. So then Coach Muse has to reset his lineup pretty much, his attack, when you have Calvin Harris, the number 2 pick in the MLS Super Draft, and then Machop Chol headed off to his homegrown contract with Atlanta FC.
And the tough loss about those two guys, too, is, again, we talk about the importance of playing together as center backs, but playing together as wingers actually makes a big difference as well, or just generally in the attack. Those two guys had such a good rapport together, and now freshmen in the lineup for Wake Forest, not only will they need to get experience together, but they'll need to get experience with playing with each other as well. There's some experience for you. Kyle Holcomb draws a foul way out there in no man's land, and that's just experience for you going up against the BC defender.
Very feisty Kyle Holcomb. You don't have to tell him he didn't score against Davidson. He will be headhunting tonight against Boston College. Here's a set piece right outside of the 18 with the normal characters behind the ball, which we saw on Monday night, Kyle. Hernandez and Swallen both have wonderful touches in their service ball. The referees today will be Mike Stutt, assistant referee Jeremy Smith, and Justin Howard. There's the line sprayed. 10 yards, please, and we're ready to go. Swallen with his hand up. In swinger, going near stick, and is deflected off of Souza. Another corner. A quick corner. 2 short corners for Wake Forest so far. Service ball again and headed out by the defense of Boston College. Chase Oliver will play his support now.
Always love to see a striker get involved in defending like that. Stefan Sigurdarsson, 6'3" he stands, so a defensive presence there on set pieces. Not just a striker, gets involved at the back as well.
Forbes on the right side of the touchline. Play his support to Rula, and Rula will put it into the 18. Jock trying to head it away. Hernandez goes up for the 50-50 ball in the back line. Will try to clear it. Suzuki's up there to pick up the loose ball. The Wake Forest women's team is in action for the first time in the spring in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's tied 0-0 right now. We'll check on those scores for you. Just played about 10 minutes here at Surprise Stadium, 0-0. The Deacs have had a good look with Benalcazar right in front of the cage. There's Bob Thompson, his first season. He was hired to take the place of his former coach, Ed Kelly. Ed Kelly, who recruited him and then allowed him to be assistant coach, and a goal by Swallen. What a rip on the ground and skidded by Garner for the first goal of the night.
And that was coming. Wake Forest had been pushing basically the entire first 7 or 8 minutes here. A number of chances. Gardner able to make that early save on Benalcazar. And here Swallen strikes. What a player he's been stepping up for Wake Forest, threading through the Forbes winner in the last game and now picking up one of his own.
And let me look at this again. Just decides to rip it, a bounce, and just got through the hands of Garner. Had to have some fire behind that in order to get past the hands of Garner. Just beat him. Wow.
Yeah, and I think Garner will probably want that one back. Won't enjoy watching that replay. Just one of those balls that skitters along the ground and has enough hop to put him off to where he couldn't get a hand on it. Good look by Swallen, knowing that the goalkeeper may be off his line a bit.
9th minute, Swallen makes it 1-0. Wake Forest with a lead. As the congregation right there behind the brick wall watches on. Tennessee has scored against Wake Forest women's team. It's 1-0 Tennessee in Knoxville. We'll keep an eye on that one as Will Jock moves all the way up and will play Tyshawn Rose. Dickens, Jorge Dickens, a walk-on, gets the start tonight for the Eagles. In the center of the pitch. Only 3 in the back for Coach Thompson. Rose with a through ball looking for Sigurdarsson. Chase Oliver with possession. 1-0 our score, the 9th minute. Swallen ripped one and skipped one right past Christian Garner. 1-0 Wake Forest. And they're on the attack again. Forbes to the left side. And they were pointing the other way, saying Forbes may have maybe have delivered somewhat of a shiver or a forearm shiver. There's Coach Muse, his 6th season, 97 wins for him, 36-7-5 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. He said he was very happy about the result on Monday. Of course, you want to win more than 1-0, but you got the result. You get the win, whether it's 3-0 or 1-0. Said they started off a little slow, but then settled well, and then ended up playing a better game. More chances, obviously. And of course, Kyle, when you're first starting off after a break from the fall, you're going to miss some bunnies. You're going to miss some chances. And we saw that Monday night.
Yeah, no question about it. They were shaking off the rust in that game, and it's carried over here to this matchup against BC. They look so much sharper, so much better, almost like, hey, they've got a game under their belt.
Ball taken away from Chase Oliver. Eagles trying to knock it around. Switching fields. And a miscue by Conradson. To go out of bounds. Harlan Rula, probably the most experienced player starting tonight for Coach Muse. Very highly touted recruited class from the fall. Jelani Forbes being one of those players. And Prince Mpansa. Wasn't that long ago, Rula was the young one, learning from Michael DeShields and Sam Raven. Now it's Rula being the teacher. Garner looking to clear it. Escribano comes up for the 50-50 ball. Lost it in the air. Miscue there. Hernandez cuts that one out. Deeks back here on the attacking third. 1-0, Swollen. Goal in the 9th minute. Puts the Deacons on top. Here the ACC opener in the spring. Swollen. Tight roping the touchline. Ponsa and Bernal Cassar. The New York kids anchoring that back line tonight for Coach Muse. And here come the Eagles on the attack. Here's a rip and right with the hands of Cole McNally.
You know, shots on target are never a bad thing here, Ty. This might have been a little bit of an ambitious one. There were options here through the middle for Conradson, and instead he wanted to take it with the left foot. Now, we've seen him score goals from there before. Conradson, a midfielder with a very good aim. Unfortunately, that one right at the goalkeeper. And again, shots on target, never a bad thing. But he had some options there on the counterattack, and BC may not get too many opportunities like that again.
I think that was really just a form of testing the keeper right now. You know, let's give it a rip. Let's see what happens. This is the 18th meeting all time. First meeting dating back to 2005. Boston College joined the Atlantic Coast Conference. Of course, Wake leads on a very slim margin, 9-6-2. Remember in 2019, up at Newton, Mass, Boston College did get the win 2-1. I'm sure that is fresh on the mind of Coach Muse, and this is not a good sign for Coach Muse, as it looks like it's Suzuki that's down, rubbing his left knee.
Wake can ill afford to lose any other guys to injuries. Takuma Suzuki is a very important player to this squad. He's not one of the flashier players. He's an engine there in the midfield for Wake Forest. Just sort of keeps to himself, does his role, plays it very, very well next to the more flashy and more high-profile Jake Swollen in there in midfield. But a very important player, sophomore from Georgia. Took over for that Joey Desart role, the pivot in midfield. Joey Desart, another guy who was, just went about his business on the field. You never really saw him crop up a ton, but after you look back on the game, you say, wow, he was so important to that well-drilled midfield. So Suzuki's really picked up where Desart has left off. This squad's so thin right now.
Coach Muse really wants Suzuki to step up and become that leader that Parente was, since Parente has gone off to the professional ranks with Columbus. That's how the changing of the guard goes.
Nice
Just
step.
Yesterday, Desart was there. Great steal by Holcomb. And Holcomb got it on his heel and it kicked it away.
Yeah, just a little bit of Velcro to his feet there, the ball had. Just an inadvertent kick. That was a nice step by Kyle Holcomb. BC's been a little sloppy in possession. A couple of steps as well by BC that have been a little ill-advised. They've gotten themselves out of position by trying to press this Wake Forest passing attack a little too much. You see guys step and whiff to try and grab an interception on a pass through midfield, and then it leaves the defense on an island Got to be careful when you make those steps. Get the attacker to blow right by you.
3 shots total between these two clubs. All have been on frame. And one from Wake Forest, and Jake Swallen has hit the back of the net. That was in the 9th minute. Here we are with about 30 minutes left to go in the first half. Deacs leading 1-0 against Boston College. Deacs with 2 shots. Boston College with just 1 from that shot from Conradson. Chase Oliver trying to touch it away from Rose. It's off of Rose's foot. It'll be a throw-in for Wake Forest.
Tyshawn Rose, one of a couple Connecticut folks in this BC lineup. Got to give Connecticut a shout out, my stomping grounds. Michael Susky, a Connecticut product, a 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in Connecticut.
There's a lot of international players, but one state that makes up the most of this roster is your home state, Kyle, Connecticut. A lot of great soccer there, huh?
Yeah, it's all right.
And Ponsa with a smart pass and the short pass to Rula. Into space, Escribano. And it'll trickle out of bounds for a throw-in. Good idea, Escribano trying to push that one on that outside flank and get Chase Oliver to run onto it. Rose, double teamed. Rose still with possession. This will be off Escribano. Actually, it won't be. It'll be off the foot of Susky. So the Deacs now are in full force. They have 11 players on the pitch. Suzuki back on. That's good news for the Deacon faithful, the congregation. Swallen with a scoop. Oh, beautiful touch by Swallen. Scooped it right over the top to Jake Oliver.
Well, Jake Swallen has produced a couple of passes over the last 2 games here to start the spring season that you just have to shake your head at and go, where did he get that from his bag of tricks?
Yeah, Coach Muse kind of compared him. This is a tough comparison because just the talent that this player had, but compared him a little to Ian Harkes, just his vision, and that is high praise. Ian Harkes is now in the Scottish Premier League. It's one of the best center mids I've ever seen play in the ACC.
Certainly is high praise.
Good set of skill by Zimmerman. The Deacs back off. Boston College will play the support all the way back.
One of the advantages to the 3 center back system here that we see BC trying to take advantage of is the numbers in midfield. Obviously, you take a defender and you put him in midfield. Now that requires a lot of running on the flanks so that you have guys on the wing basically playing defense and offense at 100%. But you get to clog up the midfield a little bit, and you can clearly see BC is attempting to do that. The double handball, but I think this was off Benalcazar first.
And the ball moved in a very awkward movement, so definitely looks like there was a handball, and that will be the call. A free kick awarded to Boston College. Conradson right behind it. Let's see if they can produce the equalizer.
Oh, maybe actually went off of Susky first and then Benalcazar and then back off of Susky. Either way, Benalcazar, the one who was whistled for it. Dangerous chance here for Boston College. I mentioned Conradson has a very good aim. We'll see what he could do with this free kick. Enough room to curl it around the wall. We'll see what he goes for.
McNally awaits. The curler inside the 18. Wake Forest trying to clear it. Still in the attacking third. Taken away by Forbes. Up ahead to Chase Oliver. Back and forth, right back to Forbes. And out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in for the Demon Deacons. They got up in a hurry. two freshmen, Forbes and Chase Oliver. Got up the pitch in a hurry. But a good idea with that free kick, though, curling it, trying to use Boston College's height.
Yeah, he went for the assist rather than the strike. I actually thought it was a good position to try one on net, but you're right, an excellent curler into the box. He just didn't get it close enough to the frame for it to really be a dangerous pass and test that Wake Forest back line. Instead, just kind of mixed it up in the scrum.
Chase Oliver, the poise of an upperclassman. You would think it's his first start, just the way he's moving on the ball.
And he's moving very well with his teammates, too, playing off his teammates like they know each other very well. Wake Forest has been incredibly patient in this game, even without Jake Swallen's goal. They have poked and prodded and looked for their opportunity. They showed that trait against Davidson in the spring opener, and that has carried over to tonight. They were less sharp against Davidson, but even tonight, they are picking their spots very well, attacking players one-on-one when they have the chance, passing through the defense when they have the chance. Excellent patience and vision by this Wake Forest team so far.
A lot of space here on the right side. Now they'll switch it to the right side. Chase Oliver, I wanted to add, that lost the ball, and some players will kind of put their head down, upset that they did not complete the move. Well, rather than give up, Chase Oliver tracked it down, was able to get the possession right back, which a lot of coaches want to see that, especially from a freshman. Always have your head up and never give up on the play. Rula, play it back to Mponsa. Mponsa used to take about 3 different trains and 2 buses to get to training session at NYCFC. Only 17 years of age. Good layoff to Chase Oliver on the right side. He's got speed. Cuts it back. Great play by Rose to get his body in front of it. The Deeks in the attacking third. Chase Oliver comes back and picks it off. But that looked like it was going to develop into something. And the Boston College player will go down. It's Sigurdarsson. All the way up, or all the way to back, I may add.
Yeah, this midfield for BC is very flexible as well. Sigurdarsson able to go front to back to help out defensively, but he's got so many bodies behind him clogging it up in midfield. Conradson, Zimmerman, Rose, Dickens, all those guys are very flexible. You see them all over the field in different positions, doing different jobs. Zimmerman really holding the line as a defensive midfielder, but then everybody else in front of him flows all over the pitch. Refs tried to play advantage there.
Swallen keeping his feet as Susky was nipping at his heels. 21 minutes left in the first 45. Deacons 1, Boston College 0. And Ponsa, good step by the freshman. And into space to Chase Oliver. Swallen will go. Taken away by Susky. Susky, 1v3. Plays it off to the right to Sigurdarsson. And a rocket of a shot, but knocked off the chest of Cole McNally.
How about the job by Susky here to even work a shot for his team? A 1-on-4 break, finds his teammate after stepping off to the right, And then the tight angle shot. And Ponza did well to push Sigurdarsson towards the touchline rather than into the middle. He gave him really only one option, but head coach Bobby Muse will probably be a little unhappy that Mpanza was allowed the shot in the first place. You definitely want to close that down.
In-swinger punched out. Here on the counter is Jelani Forbes. On the opposite side, and Forbes wanted to play Holcomb, but just didn't have the leg strength to get to him.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a weakness that head coach Bobby Muse will want Jelani Forbes to work on throughout his college career. You can tell he's slightly one-footed because normally a right winger there would have been able to easily deliver a right-footed ball. Holcomb had tons of time and space down there through the middle. He could have delivered that ball a few seconds earlier. Instead, Forbes had to switch it to his left in order to deliver that ball, and by the time he got it onto his left and got the cross off, it was too late, and the defense had recovered. So Forbes, obviously a left winger, would normally be able to make use of his left foot there on the outside to send the cross in, but on the break he ended up on the right, and he'll want to work on that right foot a little bit and get it a little stronger so in the future he can deliver that ball.
Susky moves into the middle and into space on the right side of the pitch as Boston College puts the service into the area. Suzuki. Escribano will overlap Chase Oliver. Little extra shove there on Hernandez by Jorge Dickens. Oliver keeps it at his feet. A long ball, hoping for Kyle Holcomb to run on, but a little too much on that. And Garner watched that, came up, made the catch. 17.5 in the first 45. The Deacs up 1-0 to these Eagles. 468 days of no soccer. Here they are, their first game back in a hostile environment at Surprise Stadium. After defeating Wake Forest in 2019 2-1. A team that went all the way to the College Cup, of course, and lost to UVA. Speaking of the championships, they will be moved, and they'll be back again to carry 36 teams, 24, and then those 12 at-large bids, 24 automatic qualifiers. Selections on April 18th, and the College Cup in the beautiful month of May, 13th through 17th.
May soccer in Cary, North Carolina is going to be absolutely spectacular, Ty. I think North Carolina soccer fans will be excited if Wake were to make that event, but no matter what, you can expect that will be a spectacular and beautiful event and a wonderful time and place to play some college soccer at a high level.
A good look for Boston College here, looking for the equalizer. Rose, a turn by Susky, slips on the turf, or the grass, pardon. And it's scooped up by Cole McNally. Yeah, let's just hope it's May weather.
Yeah.
Not the boxer, but yeah, let's hope it's May weather in North Carolina.
Bit of an experience there from Chase Oliver on that turnover. Wake Forest defense able to corral here so far, though.
Good set of skill by Escribano. A foul called. It'll be Wake Forest free kick. You could see a card here. Hernandez has gotten touched up a little bit. Now he goes down. I think the referee's saying, I've seen this 3 times, to Zimmerman. Rose looking for a step over, and then Susky making the turn and hoping maybe he could get a penalty kick there.
Yeah, that was a speculative effort there by Susky at best. You could tell he was looking for the whistle the whole way. On the other side, you were right. Ref said, that's enough. I don't want to see any more from Alejandro Zimmerman, the sophomore from Costa Rica, who played for the U20 side for a Costa Rican first division club in Guadalupe FC.
Squirting out to Holcomb. Holcomb with a shot and into the midst of Garner.
The old outside of the boot effort there from Holcomb, I think. That is audacious, but he's got the talent level to make it happen. Put it on frame. When you do that, good things happen.
7 different countries, 8 different states represented here on this Boston College roster. They lost 7 seniors in 2019. 4 of 3 of those were actually starters. Talking to Coach Bob Thompson this week, he said he just wants to get some leadership on this team because that's who they lost with those seniors from 2019. One of those leaders he expects is number 5, Victor Souza. Conradson over the right side. A service ball looking for Susky. And Rule is able to put a toe on it. Fans somewhat are allowed here today, or tonight. You can hear the drums. Very limited tickets, but they were flying off the shelves. There's some substitutions for both squads. Dominguez comes in, Zimmerman out. LCC Rona come in. And there is Amos Shapiro Thompson. You'll see him a lot. He's got a very good touch, and he's electrifying. He will cause problems for Wake Forest defense, I can tell you that.
Certainly likes to put an effort on net. In 13 games played last year, 31 shots attempted by Shapiro Thompson, so he gets up there in the attack. Plenty that wearing that number 10. Was only able to put 10 of those 31 shots on net. So needs a little more accuracy, but certainly not lacking confidence in the final third.
Amos Shapiro Thompson and Sigurdarsson both on the All-ACC freshman team in 2019. Nice to have those guys back once become the head coach like Bob Thompson, former player for Boston College under head coach Ed Kelly, the legendary head coach Ed Kelly. Recruited Bob Thompson and then brought him on coaching staff. Now the Eagles on the attack. Conradson into space to Rose. Rose uses his left foot, gets clear. Conradson. And Shapiro Thompson. Boston College. Nice streak of possession here. With about 12 minutes to go in the first half. And that ball carried off for a goal kick. But good looks for Boston College against this somewhat inexperienced defense of Wake Forest. They've made their way right outside of the 18, put those balls in play, and kind of made Cole McNally a little uncomfortable. It's hard to say that Cole McNally will be uncomfortable because you just see he's back there, no problems at all, just very big and stout. We saw that first shot Davidson put up on Monday, and it made a weird bounce on the grass. Now, it did rain earlier that day. Coach Muse said it was an interesting bounce, and it made him like have to catch his breath because that first shot that Cole McNally saw almost made a wicked bounce in.
Yeah, it definitely gave him some problems, but able to handle it, thankfully, for Wake Forest. You mentioned taking a deep breath, then a sigh of relief. Ended up with a shutout.
Oscar Sears Part of this freshman class from Sweden is in the middle. You'll see he number 10. Verona on the left side. Dominguez, and now Conradson. Rose now pinches into the middle. It's like Boston College now settling in. They're trailing 1-0 in the 9th minute. A goal by Jake Swallen. Swallen with 4 assists on the year. Finally gets his first goal. Conradson. There's a service looking for the big man, and Shapiro Thompson fading away with a half volley. Did not get his boot on it.
Yeah, Shapiro Thompson read that ball very well. 3 different defenders got sucked up underneath that lofted ball into the box, and he somehow managed to get his boot to it. Just wasn't the contact he was looking for, but very smart positioning and smart play by Shapiro Thompson. That is a bit of a let-off for Wake Forest there, and a chance missed for the Eagles.
2 shots for the Eagles, or excuse me, 3 shots for the Eagles and 3 shots for the Deacons. Besides that first goal, it's been pretty much even between these two clubs. And watch this service ball. Yeah, he just kind of misjudged that ball and whiffed it. I think he got a little piece of it, but that's why he immediately put his hands on his head.
Yeah, Shapiro Thompson was completely unmarked, to be quite honest with you, Ty. There was nobody there. Ben Alcazar was the closest one, and he was sort of ball watching, standing next to McNally. And somehow Shapiro Thompson nearly got a very, very good shot off. Just couldn't make that high degree of difficulty on the contact.
The Eagles back with possession. There'll be a throw in for the Deeks. Rula with no urgency takes his time and will throw it in. Leading 1-0. Benal Cassar, in the very early goings of this match, was about a foot away from making it 1-0. The ball squirted out straight to him, and it surprised himself that he was so open and right in front of the net. A missed chance, but then Swallen in the 9th minute made it official, 1-0. That's all we got so far in the first 45 here at Spry Stadium. Back on the attack. Here come the Eagles right outside of the 18. Rose, the service ball, the outswinger headed away. Thompson, Shapiro looked up. Ball bounced off his foot. But the Eagles are right back and figuring out a way to attack this Wake Forest back line. 7 minutes left. 1-0. The ACC opener here on a chilly March 6th. Spring soccer in ACC land.
Tell you what, Ty, the weather here in North Carolina has been all over the place the last 2 weeks.
Where have you been, pal? This is out North Carolina.
I know. Some rain, some sun, everything in between. The temperature's been up in the 70s. It's been down in the 20s. Just pick out of the bag every morning.
Yeah, welcome to North Carolina. Pack everything during a day. It'll be 75 at 3 o'clock and then 22 by 8 p.m. Just under 50 degrees here tonight. Now it's 6 minutes left until halftime. And Rula will get the flag raised on him. It'll be a free kick in a very dangerous spot as the Eagles look to create an equalizer, down 1-0. Conradson will be the one behind the ball.
It is really hard to tell a player not to compete at 100% every single second on the field here, but sometimes fullbacks can get a little bit testy in places like this where there's really no threat, no direct threat. And so committing a foul here in an area like this gives BC a really, really good opportunity on a dangerous set piece and a foul that really wasn't necessary.
Sigurdarsson making the near stick and the flick on goal. And he immediately taunts the congregation. That will be noted.
Beautiful header from Sigurdarsson, who attacked that ball with venom. He's tall, 6'3", put a perfect redirect on that delivery, which was fabulous from the spot kick. And Sigurdarsson is the guy for Boston College to draw level. Look at this. He attacks the near post, gets there ahead of his defender in Benalcazar, leaps to meet it, and perfectly deflects the ball inside the far post. That is an expert header from Sigurdarsson.
That was one of the first things I wanted to highlight before that free kick, was watching 23 sit right in the middle. Of course, his height. It's not hard to find him at 6'3". It's tied up 1-1.
And just, I was mentioning before that, Ty.
Hold the phone. Kajima put it right in front of the mouth of the goal. And Wake Forest almost made it 2-1.
Almost an immediate response there from Wake. David Rona just out of his reach. I think the delivery may have just taken a bit of a deflection off a defender out of the reach of Rona, because that was very nearly an immediate response by the Deeks. I was just mentioning before that goal, Ty, that foul from Rula there in the top corner of the box. Sometimes as a fullback you get a little excited and have to remember where you are on the field. Obviously you don't want to let a guy just race past you, but also you got to be careful about committing fouls in non-dangerous areas when you create a dangerous opportunity with a set piece.
What we saw in the first half of the first half, Wake Forest owned possession and looked like normal Wake Forest soccer. Boston College has settled in and has knocked the ball around, and now they find themselves level at 1-1. Watch Kajima.
Here's this cross. Yeah,
I
think that just took right into the post.
Yeah.
For Rona.
Good eye by our
right.
producer.
Yeah, I think that took a deflection off maybe Tyshawn Rose, I think, who was the defender there, because otherwise that would have been right in the path of Rona. Here he is.
3:14 left. Wake Forest looking to get the go-ahead goal. As Boston College leveled it up with a flick-on header by Sigurdarsson. Here's Rula, the junior from Birmingham, Alabama. Hernandez with a cross. Sears lays it off. Here's a shot and blocked. Sigurdarsson settled that nicely. They'll play the ball all the way back to Garner. Fessler, freshman. His first action was on Monday. He's into the game now for Coach Bobby Muse. 2 minutes remain here in the first 45, 1-1. Can Wake Forest make this 2-1 before they get to the locker room? Alcazar in the circle. looking to go forward. He'll play Mpanza to his left. Rona fighting for position, taken away by Souza. Souza off to Susky. Susky gets past two defenders and poked away by Mpanza. Souza all the way up, right to Susky. Susky splits the defenders. Good attack by the Eagles. Shapiro Thompson tiptoes into the 18. Blocked away by Escribano. And it's cleared out.
Ty, I mentioned before, Shapiro Thompson not afraid to take a shot or two himself. How about there? He had a perfect layoff right in front of Sigurdarsson. Instead tried to finish that Cruyff turn against two defenders. Ended up somehow getting a shot off. It was blocked, but he got past those first two men. Excellent work by Shapiro Thompson. Didn't take the easy route, took the hard route instead, and still managed to get a decent shot attempt.
45 ticks until halftime. 1-1 here at Surprise Stadium, the ACC opener there in the spring session. This is the first game for Boston College in 468 days. They did not play in the fall. Too many international players could not make it over because of COVID-19. Well, they're all aboard now, and they're tied up with the number 6 team in the country. Here in the first half. 12 seconds. I'll be interested to see the stats on possession. Wake Forest looked like they owned it, and then Boston College towards the end, or that second half of the first half, looked like they owned it. But it's, you gotta watch number 23. He scored 2 in 2019 in a flick on by a set piece, makes it 1-1. Sigurdarsson and Boston College level with number 6, Wake Forest. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Wake Forest played really well. They just got beat on a set piece they didn't need to concede in the first place.
We'll be back with some stats coming up.
We see every day young African Americans being wrongfully accused or put in situations where we're being harmed.
This is bigger than basketball. This is bigger than us. We're all at home separately, doing our own thing, and we kind of got together and decided that as a team we wanted to do something. We didn't know what exactly we were going to do.
I think it was Coach Joe who came to me. He was like, "What do you think about maybe possibly designing a shirt or whatever for the protest?" And I jumped at that opportunity.
You might be able to do shirts and wear the shirts, and then that's when we pushed that idea of maybe we should make shirts. So I kind of volunteered to make the logo for the shirt. It's right up my alley. I love doing art as a off-court thing. I was thinking putting our names on the shirt and making it a basketball team thing, but then again, that's when I thought maybe it's about everybody else. Maybe this is not about us. So that's where I decided to put all the victims' names in the WF logo and have that little touch of this is for you guys, this is not for us.
This is the one that we ultimately decided on doing. Coach Forbes has been really adamant on allowing us to use our voices, especially being young black males, and with all that's going on today. Went to a protest downtown where we sat in with a bunch of other people who get together, just raise awareness about police brutality and the Black Lives Matter movement. So initially, I think that the plan was just to wear it for the protest, but I think we're going to extend this. This will be something that we'll wear in season.
We intend on wearing the shirts throughout the season. Nice to make art that speaks louder than my words could ever do.
Art is something that I've always loved to do since a kid. It was probably my first passion before basketball, actually.
Yeah, art for me is my off-court passion, and it's really nice to have that other outlet that I can go back to and just be okay, I'm in my zone, and I can be calm, tamed, and express myself.
Dinks it over the top to Strickler. They get a finish finally. Beautiful combination play. Smith gets ahead. He'll take a shot low, and it trickles in. Smith, the goal scorer, trying to get a shot one-on-one. He slots it home again. Clemson pressing, smelling some blood for the hat trick. He's going to walk it in. Plays it across, and it's going to fall for Smith. Instead of taking four, he lays it off for Brighton. Unselfish from the hat tricks for hooks up.
It's McFadden here going low, runs through everybody, and sends Notre Dame to the semifinals. Aiden McFadden, game winner.
Looking to make the cross in. It's still loose in front, and across the line, and it's awarded. Oh. Spoke too soon, and he got him. Happy Kamseyu, second of the match, chips the keeper Pannenberg, and Prince Amponso, the freshman, made a massive freshman mistake.
Back to Noel. Slotting it through. Jackson Walty onside and inside the corner. Near post and a goal. Too easy. Pitt goes in front 2-0. Petkovic driving, deflected. 3-0 Pitt. Panthers headed to their first ACC final.
Barber charging forward. Newland steps well, might fall to Smith. It does, but Shuttler's out. Not enough. Patterson able to turn. Shot deflection. It's in. He did it again. He equalized last year in the final. He equalized again in the semi tonight. Stutter step. Goal. Tigers back on top 2-1.
Problem here on that distribution. Gives it right back to Clemson. And Sage scores for the Tigers. Right now it is Noel and Pitt on the attack. They tie it. Brighton looking for Barber. 6 assists on the season for Barber. Looking for 7. He's got it. And so does Brandon. The captain comes through for Clemson. The Clemson Tigers win the ACC championship, avenging last year's loss in the final.
1-1 our score here at Surprise Stadium. The Deacs went on top 1-0 in the 9th minute with a skipper by Jake Swallen. And the Deacs were off and running, and they looked like a typical Wake Forest type of match. But then Boston College settled in, Kyle, and got some great chances. But here's what Wake Forest did. Look how close this one was. Hey, Mom, look how close this was. Look what I got.
That was nearly a moment for Ben Alcazar. Very good shot and a very good delivery as well, but a beautiful, beautiful save. And BC started to create a few more chances. Their creativity just was better than Wake Forest throughout a decent amount of this half. Nearly a wonderful moment there for Shapiro Thompson, who just couldn't make the tough contact. Swollen with a bouncer that somehow found the back of the net. Christian Gardner may not want to watch that one back. Could have potentially had it. Swollen goes bowling with his teammates. Boston College, though, man, Ty, this was a real moment to savor for BC. Sigerdarson beats Ben Alcazar to the free kick, flicks the header into the back of the net. It's just really, really high degree of difficulty to get the correct contact on that header.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ben Alcazar was picked, but immediately you saw 2-3 making that near post run and a beautiful flick on textbook. It's 1-1. Shots, Boston College edges ahead with 5 and Wake Forest with 1. 4 of those on frame, and Wake Forest 3 of those on frame. Foul's been quite small, though. Now, when you play Boston College, you expect a lot of physical play. Only 15 between the two teams, 8 for Boston College, 7 for Wake Forest. Just 3 saves so far for McNally. He's had his work cut out for him as Boston College has worked out an attack and found a way to get the back of the net and level this up for Coach Thompson. Coach Thompson is 1-0 against Wake Forest in 2019. He was kind of the acting coach in that particular game when the Deacs lost in Newton, Mass 2-1, all because of Sigerdarson. He scored 2, and he's got 1 on the night to tie it up. The Deacs getting ready for the second half. I'm sure they were, motivated in the locker room, to say the least. The congregation looks on. But here's the 2020-21 ACC men's soccer. In the fall, it was separated by those two regions. You had the North and the South. And remember, Boston College did not play. Clemson won in the fall championship. So, Kyle, explain that to our viewers exactly how this will work out in the spring session.
Yeah, so obviously, as you could see on the graphic there, it was separated into regional divisions in the fall. Now in the spring, back to the Atlantic and Coastal. Everybody's going to play 5 ACC matchups. Then the winner of the two divisions, the two winners will play each other. The winner of that play-in game will play Clemson for the conference's automatic bid. If Clemson wins its division, they scrap that sort of divisional playoff game and just have the other winner play Clemson for the automatic qualifier. So Clemson, thanks to its fall victory, is automatically in that play-in game against whoever wins the opposing division or wins the divisional championship.
Bob Thompson, guess he's smiling underneath that mask, or probably not. There's his main man beside him, his associate head coach, who says a lot of great things about them. He said probably the best assistant coach in the nation, Francisco D'Agostino, is one of the architects. He looks at his crew or his staff as a team rather than him in charge, kind of like what Coach Muse does with his two assistants. We've got a pretty talented team. Coach Muse on the other side has put in 8 freshmen and 5 sophomores. Having to reshuffle the deck, has some players injured. McMaster is now off to Minnesota to train in the MLS. He was drafted in the Super Draft. Minnesota went up and got him.
Nice touch.
Good touch off to Jelani Forbes to the left. Plenty of space. Here's the cross. And not in time is it deflected in a corner.
Well, it looked for all the world like it was deflected, but I think the referee has given a goal kick here. I thought Forbes had done well to try and get that cross off and then have it blocked back over the line, but I think the Wake players are protesting here because a goal kick was given. That was a beautiful touch by Kyle Holcomb down the left, even to spring Forbes. Yeah, tough to see there. I think the lack of spin on the ball is what makes it look like it was deflected, but it's hard to tell. If the deflection was there, it was slight. So we'll give the benefit of the doubt to the official.
Boston College actually led in possession in the first half. 54% to Wake Forest 46%. I added in the first half that a lot of that came when Boston College settled in, probably 20 minutes into the match. As the Deacs playing with a lot of underclassmen. 2 juniors started tonight, Kyle Holcomb and Holland Rula. And here comes Conradson, and Conradson scores.
Oh my goodness, just a nothing shot from Conradson, and that is why I said, Ty, shots on target are never a bad thing. We mentioned Christian Garner may want the Wake goal back earlier in the game. I think Cole McNally's going to want this one back. He looked like he thought that ball was going to go easily wide, didn't even give it a look. It tucked itself into the back corner. Excellent win in midfield by Conradson. Just takes a speculative effort with his left foot, and McNally didn't even give that one a dive. I think he believed it was going well wide. It is difficult as a goalkeeper to keep tabs on where your posts are when you have your back to the net all the time. McNally just lost himself there in front of goal. Here's another one.
Sigurdarsson turns. And Boston College looking to blow this game open, as Cole McNally will tell his back line to settle down.
That's Nikita Bundar in the game, another international player for BC.
The Eagles have been waiting a long time to get on the pitch. They went down early 1-0. And now they lead 2-1. It's the same scoreline that they beat Wake Forest up in Newton, Mass in 2019. Switching fields. Here's Rona. Now Wake Forest in search of the equalizer. Swallen gets taken down once again. He's been taken down 2 or 3 times tonight. Swallen, the only goal scorer for Wake Forest. On that net in which Conradson scored 2 off skips.
Yeah, Swallen's been hacked to the turf a couple times. So is Hernandez. These Wake midfielders being chopped to the turf. But the difference here, BC, if they're going to commit a foul, you do it in a non-dangerous area. Obviously, Swallen has the delivery to make this a dangerous chance for Wake Forest, but the degree of difficulty much higher from this far away as opposed to the area where Boston College had its set piece where they picked up their first goal before halftime.
Can the Deeks tie this up? The service inside the box, headed down. Hernandez puts it right back in the mixer. And Ponza lifts his torso up, and so does the ball. It goes too high and off to the left.
He had the right half of that goal absolutely gaping on that opportunity. Obviously, you know, as a defender, you don't get too many chances like that. Not exactly what they're known for talent-wise, but he went high and wide to the left. You'll want that low and to the right side of the net next time.
Remarkable young man. He was interviewed in the famous Men in Blazers. His time at New York City, coming over from Ghana, where his landlord of the apartment that he was in would get upset because he would juggle in the hallway too much, too long. And his mother was upset because he would use the curtain rod as a frame of a goal until it knocked it loose. Prince Mpanza, only 17 years of age.
Hey, this Wake Forest team is crying out for some creativity here in this game. That sure is one creative kid.
Yeah, take a look at that interview. Very impressive individual, just 17 years old, very young player. He reclassified himself to come in early. He actually should have been here in July of this year. Luckily for Coach Muse, he did reclassify because he's starting now for Garrison Tubbs, who had to immediately start for an injured Michael DeShields in the fall. If Garrison Tubbs is now the seasoned vet who goes out of an injury on Monday night, and then you bring in Prince Mpanza as one of their high recruit for the freshman class of 2021.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about how much of a miss that is here for Wake Forest, but Garrison Tubbs has just been such a steady player. You watch him play and he looks like a senior. You mentioned a seasoned vet as a freshman, but he had played significant minutes almost the whole fall half of the season, and a very important player very quickly for Wake Forest. He is a huge miss tonight, and that has proven true here in this ball game.
2-1 our score. It was 1-1 going into the halftime. And then Boston College went ahead with a goal by Conradson. A long goal, skipped in on the far stick. Holcomb looking for the equalizer. It'll go out of bounds, and a corner kick awarded to the Demon Deacons. Holcomb looks like he's got Gardner gloves on, but they are field gloves. Hernandez.
He'll pull some weeds while he's out there on the field.
Hopefully Wake Forest can pull an equalizer. It's headed away. A whistle blown. I don't know if there was a foul back inside the 18. Sigurdarsson is down.
Two guys
and
may have.
So is, I think, Souza.
Yeah, they may have hit heads. Obviously, the referee.
Situation here, very scary.
Yeah, the referee doing the right thing and stopping this immediately. Just give them some time to collect themselves. It may take a moment on the sidelines as well. Obviously, you know, we talked about this a little bit during Wake's last game against Davidson, but they will take all the time they need to evaluate these players correctly. Looks like one of them may need a nose plug for a bloody nose after that clash.
Souza also on that all-ACC freshman team, along with his teammate that is down beside him, Sigurdarsson. Very experienced player, just a sophomore. Coach Thompson had a lot of high praise for Souza, saying he is destined for the next level, as well as Sigurdarsson. Of course, Sigurdarsson with the equalizer.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about talent of a player, right? And things that it's really, really hard to teach. Things that a guy can just do innately. One of them, as a striker, is having the body control to jump up with your back to the net, make contact with the ball with your head, and perfectly deflect it into the far corner. Just knowing where the goal is with your back to the net, that is just not something you can teach. It's a feel kind of skill, and it's a body control kind of skill. Such a high degree of difficulty. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, rebound. Sigurdarsson and Souza just go face to face. My goodness, that is painful and scary and dangerous. And I'm glad that it looks like the two of them are mostly okay.
And did he collide with Benalcazar at first?
Yeah, it looked like it was just a 50-50 ball, collided with Benalcazar, and then rebounded into the face of Souza. Looks like Souza took the worst of this, even though Sigurdarsson was the one who went double doink, if you will.
Souza will go out.
Looks like he
gets checked up on. He's also limping on that left foot.
You saw him getting stretched out while we were waiting for the trainer to sort out the blood. Obviously, that's a worry for Boston College. We talked earlier about how that back line is so experienced. David Longo and Victor Souza, those two leaders back there, so experienced together in the back line. The two of them both played every minute of the 2019 season together for BC. That is just not something you see every year. You look at what Wake Forest has dealt with injury-wise and talent reloading. BC had some good luck along the back in 2019, and that has stayed true. So this is the first time in a while that Victor Souza may miss a couple of minutes. You can tell he's got a little bit of blood above his lip.
It looks like we will get ready to set and start things back up. So Zimmerman back on. And Souza will go out.
Zimmerman came off when they brought in Shapiro Thompson.
And Susky back in too. Susky had a warm-up jacket about 2 minutes ago. Now he's back in for Coach Thompson. Boston College with a 2-1 lead. And Wake Forest will just play it right back to the keeper, Gardner, after that collision. Sigurdarsson also out, so Susky does take his place.
Susky, a well-experienced goal scorer in his own right. We mentioned he was the Gatorade Player of the Year twice in college. 80 career goals in high school. How about that?
There's Susky right outside of the 18. Now he's inside the area. Clipped up, Conradson. Rula on top of him. Conradson will play it back. Mielis, the right winger, number 27. Haven't heard his name much. Dominguez playing the outside back. Wake Forest in uncharted territory, not owning possession. Play a game of keep away against Boston College. Rona says he's had enough.
Interesting with Rona and Holcomb both on the field for Wake Forest. Very similar striker-esque players. that is where Wake is at the moment, personnel-wise.
Escribano looking for an option to throw it into. And Hernandez goes down, clutching his lower back.
We mentioned Swallen getting hacked a couple times in this game. Hernandez has taken a couple lumps as well. BC has gone hack a midfielder here in the middle of the pitch for Wake Forest throughout the game.
A very physical squad. Coach Muse knew that coming in.
Foul count 10-7, BC with the higher number there.
BC with 7 shots, 2 of them for a goal. Wake Forest with 5. 1 goal by Swallen in the 9th minute.
Wake has just been hemmed in this game. The BC midfield has overwhelmed them from about the 20th minute on. Ty, you mentioned that that's kind of when the first half changed. And Wake has just been continually pushed back in possession. This 3 at the back system for BC is giving them exactly the midfield advantage they wanted.
Forbes on the left side. Forbes gets wrestled down, and now they will blow the whistle. Let's check and see if it was advantage.
Yeah, you know, Forbes wanted them to play advantage, but I think this is a better opportunity here for Wake with the set piece. This is a dangerous position for a free kick delivered right into the 6-yard box. We'll see if they can get somebody to rise high and present themselves for a big moment here in the second half.
Boston College took advantage of this same kind of set piece, but on the opposite side. Swallen will be the in-swinger option if they use his right foot. Hernandez would be the outswinger. But who knows? He can use both feet. Swallen curling it. Rula heads it down and trying to get it across, hoping for Benal Kassar, but great defense by the keeper, Garner.
Well, that is the opportunity they were looking for, and they just could not take advantage. The wide open, clear on goal header, and could not put it in the back of the net. Just attacker versus goalkeeper. It's just one of those that you'll want back if you're the Wake Forest attack. Gotta have those in the back of the net.
Kojima back on the pitch for the Demon Deacons. Conradson gets past Rula, heading to the middle of the pitch, and will switch fields. Jock. Little press, and now Holcomb will put on the brakes as Garner clears it. Rona chasing Shapiro Thompson. A yank, and he will most likely get the first booking. As Shapiro Thompson goes down, and Rona will go down in the book for a yellow card. We'll take a look at the pullback by Rona, just trying to swim his way to get past Shapiro Thompson. And you hook a player like that in front of the ref,
yeah,
you'll get a card. He knew it.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious and an easy call for the referee. The first one was actually pretty legal, just a slight tug, nothing too untoward about that. The second one, though, I think you could tell that he did it on quote-unquote purpose. Take the yellow card, take one for the team, because he tried to do it the first time, didn't really have an effect, so he did it again. That's all right. Sometimes as a player, you absorb a yellow card to stop a counterattack. That's been in soccer for a while.
Susky makes his way into the middle. Cut out by Suzuki. Hernandez lost it. Back to Rose and Boston College in the middle of the pitch. Shapiro waves on Susky. Controlled back by the Deacons. 2-1, our score. Conradson got the go-ahead goal in the early goings of the second half. A low-driven ball that had maybe 6 skips. and hit the far net. Forbes gets taken down, looking for a whistle. No whistle. And Dominguez will try to clear it away.
It's actually a very good foul down there, or not foul, a very good tackle down there in the corner by Boston College. This is just one you've got to have as Wake Forest. You've got Rona, a striker, in there. He's free on goal. He got past the experienced defender, David Longo. Rona's got to put that one in the back of the net. Wake has had few chances tonight against a very solid Boston College game plan, clogging it up in midfield. You've got a set piece and a dangerous opportunity. Rona will want that chance back. Unfortunately, though, Ty, that's not how it works.
Oh, he had a lot of pace when he headed it down, and just probably head that closer to the goal, I guess, unless he was expecting someone making a run.
Yeah, that header into the turf is often on purpose, trying to get it down and then pop it over to get a goalkeeper off guard. You see that in lacrosse a lot too. Guys will shoot into the turf because that shot at the feet is difficult for a goalkeeper. What can they do here? Oof.
Rula kind of scuffed it, put it on the floor. Had Forbes there. Sky-high kick into the back line. Prince Impanza waves off McNally. 30 minutes remain in this match. Boston College, they keep the score line. They will get another victory against their rival,
nice
the
ball.
Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Good goalkeeping.
And Gardner came out, cleared it. That's why you saw Holcomb back off it. Here's Rona looking for Holcomb. Here's Hernandez. Hernandez, a shot. Forbes chases on.
What a block that was. I thought that shot was going to be on net and possibly in the goal. Hernandez worked himself an excellent angle for the cut shot with his right foot, and just a last-ditch, last-gasp block. Very, very high-quality block here.
Boom.
Hernandez on his right, and then bang.
Yeah, you got to make that a quicker kind of release there, right when you cut it back. Just maybe a half a second too late. And another spoiled opportunity for the Demon Deacons. They now have 8 shots on the evening. To Boston College's 7. 4 of those shots on frame. Boston College with 6 on frame. McNally now with 4 saves and has allowed 2 goals in. And Ponsa taking the place of Garrison Tubbs, a freshman replacing a freshman. Rona puts it into 5th. It's cleared away by Souza. The Demon Deacons having to create new chemistry with so many players gone. 10 players have gone from the fall. 6 went in the draft. Rula to Forbes. Hernandez calling for it. Hernandez will get it. No flag is up. The flag is up.
Good offside trap there by Boston College. They saw Hernandez trying to create some space down there on the left. Wake Forest has had a lot of its attack here in the second half. Down there in that left corner, Hernandez trying to add a little bit of a wrinkle coming over from his attacking midfield position. The Boston College defense recognized it in time, and everyone stepped up as Hernandez went in for that pass. That is an experience, what you get with an experienced back line like BC has. Well drilled offside trap.
Shapiro Thompson with a touch, and it goes out of bounds for a throw-in. Little extracurricular activity there. Shapiro has been somewhat targeted. Shapiro Thompson, pardon me. He kind of telling the Wake Forest bench to quiet. This team has some history. Susky. McNally will use his feet. Tim Ponsa. Very dangerous. Ball being played inside the box. Bernal Cassar. Sears now back into the game for the Demon Deacons. Forbes, beautiful ball, a diving header by Rona, and well defended too. This not an angle for him to put it on frame.
Rona almost made up for the miss a couple minutes ago with what would have been a spectacular diving header. Just could not get that one on. That was a high degree of difficulty.
Rona can score some goals. He first got a goal against NC State in the fall. A good diving header attempt. Forbes will go out. And then when he took on his favorite team growing up, UAB, team that he was a ball boy for, he had a brace, 2 goals. Wake Forest won convincingly over the Blazers. Chase Oliver will replace Forbes, most likely on that left side.
Forbes looked like he was just running out of gas down there on the left. Didn't have the teeth he had in the first half. So we'll see what Wake Forest gets with Chase Oliver.
Oh, Rula still with it at his feet. Sears can't turn. Will play Oliver.
Good 1-2.
And 1-2 touch from Rula back to Chase Oliver. Suzuki just trying to, pardon me, that is Kojima. Kojima was trying to find the ball. Here's Sears. Sears with a shot. Sears just off to the left.
Just missing there from Sears. My goodness, Wake has come so close a couple of times here in the second half. Excellent entry feed and a great touch by Sears to put that on his left foot away from the defenders. An excellent first touch. He just skittered it wide.
Skittered it. I like it.
Gardner didn't know much about that shot.
Here's a corner. In-swinger, header. And coming up with it is Gardner. Gardner pushes everybody out. Seen a lot of those shots, Kyle, on the ground, trying to use that skitter or the skip.
Yeah, not so sure if it's on purpose or they just don't have their shooting boots on them tonight, but you wonder, okay, is that a strategy? Not sure. Small enough sample size that it's hard to tell, but certainly that is what Gardner has faced a lot tonight, is those worm burners.
Yes, there you go. I was trying to say that earlier. Thank you. Kyle's the writer, so.
They don't call me a color analyst for nothing.
Chase Oliver fighting that one off. It'll go out of bounds. Rula will throw it in. Oh, whistle blown. It looks like the referee seen enough there by Luna. Beto Luna got called with maybe a hook. Maybe we'll see it again. Remember, we're 2 miles away. We're not actually in the stadium. I just got notified by our guys in the truck that we will not see it, so my apologies. But a free kick. Good job. And here's the service ball by Swallen. Boston College lets that one trickle out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick. .22.5 left to go in regulation. Boston College taking their time, leading 2-1. The game winner, as it will stand right now, if this scoreline stands, the game winner will be Conradson with a long-distance warm burner of a shot.
A lot of time here still for things to happen, but obviously you look at
just a 5-game league season would be very difficult for Wake Forest to make a comeback looking for one of the top spots there in the divisional race to have a chance at that automatic qualifier. One loss in a game like this would be exceptionally difficult to work around.
Surprising there. I thought maybe they were going to call it dangerous play as Susky was on the ground kicking at it. A free kick now to Boston College, leading 2-1. And an abnormal year, an abnormal season. Here we are in the spring playing the second half of the season because of COVID-19. A Wake Forest team that lost 10 players from the fall to the spring. Basically a facelift to their attack minus Kyle Holcomb. But Kyle, with Boston College coming in after 468 days off, what we've seen now looks like ACC caliber soccer.
Yeah, you know, we talked with head coach Bob Thompson before the game. He was happy that he had time to settle into a new position, make a plan, get to know the players, and it has really come true tonight. They look so well drilled. The midfield game plan has worked to perfection. Wake has had very few opportunities up front. It just feels clogged, and that has borne fruit on both ends for Boston College. Nearly a chance there up front. Ooh.
Susky put it up front for Sigurd Darson, and Cole McNally is a big man as well. Want to make sure he knew that Sigurd Darson knew that he was there. Flag up, they say offside on Holcomb. Holcomb shakes his head at the side ref. Referee has been really on his game tonight, Kyle. I have to give him some props.
Yeah.
He's immediately verbalizing what he doesn't want to see by the players before going to his pocket.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. There haven't been any calls that have felt frustrating. He's let the game flow, but he's also instilled how he wants the game to be played. It's been a very well refereed game.
Sears moves it to the near side and just gives it a ride. It goes out of bounds.
And this is something we didn't see in the game against Davidson from Wake Forest. They were calm, cool, and collected the whole way, ended up finding a winner midway through the second half. In this game, it's starting to look like with the 1-goal deficit, this Wake team is beginning to press that panic button a little bit. Not yet. The alarm bells aren't going off with 19 minutes to go, but it does feel a little bit forced at this point. They haven't had too many opportunities up front.
And the game plan coming in was try to wear Boston College down. And that's tough to wear a Boston College down team. So wear a Boston College team down if you're not deep. There's Rhoda going down because how many players are not able to play tonight for Wake Forest?
Yeah, I mean, you're just, at some point, it's just difficult to piece together a team at this level with so many guys missing and so many things changed. There's advantage. Well played by the referee. That should be a yellow card.
And Sigurd Darson is not a very well-liked player here at Spry Stadium. And a little physical contact, if you'd say the least.
Wake Forest wanted to take a quick free kick, and Boston College was hogging the ball, not allowing them to grab it and put it down for a quick free kick. They wouldn't have been able to take one anyways because the referee had stopped play to give a yellow card. But clearly BC is wanting to let that clock run, and Wake would like to move things along.
These games or these matches have always been physical. The fouls were down in the first half. They've creeped up here in the second half.
That first foul was given as an advantage. Well played by the referee. And yeah, that second one. And you see here Souza trying to kick the ball away, tries to kick it away again. And Holcomb doesn't like that. There's a little bit of extra contact on both sides. Souza just a little unnecessary there, and I think
So there's
popped
a
off.
hit there. Surprised that that wasn't looked at. As Souza with some blood on his lip. You see Jock saying to his players, use your head. 2-1. Frustration now for the Demon Deacons. They've come awfully close of tying this up. Can they execute and finish here?
I believe Souza was yellow carded as well. At least it sounded like that from the PA announcer.
Swollen behind the free kick here. Rula will take it. A flutter inside the 18 and right into the hands of Garner. Yes, Souza will get the card. The right idea on that kind of a lofted ball inside the 18. Just, you don't want that ball to get to the 6, maybe right outside of the 6. Rona's gotten a yellow. Souza's gotten a yellow, and as well as Sigurdarsson with a yellow. 17 and a half left to play. 2-1. Boston College on top of number 6 Wake Forest. Well-developed play. Rona, the rip. Rona off to the left.
Excellent rip by Rona there with the left foot. Tried to curl it inside the far post. Boy, he wanted that one. Well-worked move, like you said, Ty, by Wake Forest. Finally creating something on its own. Excellent ball through the middle. Nice cut by Rona. Just couldn't get that shot to curl enough inside the far post.
11 shots for the Demon Deacons. They average about 12 per game coming over from the fall. Rona usually will tuck that away 9 times out of 10. Rona has 4 shots, 1 on frame. Only a matter of time, Kyle, until he can tuck one in.
He seems the most likely to score on Wake Forest at this point.
It was quite interesting, that ball right outside the touchline. Looked like everybody was backing away from it except for Escribano. Ball goes out. Escribano looked like he was going to throw it in. They say it's a throw in for Boston College. Whistle blown. And the flag is pointed in the direction of a throw in, I believe. No, a free kick for Boston College. Wake Forest women were in action against Tennessee in Knoxville. They went down 2-0. That was the final. Their first game back of the spring. And the men trailed 2-1 to Boston College. Swallow. Touch pass to Chase Oliver. Conradson comes out with it. Rona. Hernandez losing it in the middle of the pitch. 15 minutes now remain. 11 shots to 7. Wake Forest with a lead, but not leading in the goal department. 2-1. Forbes went out, Chase Oliver came on. We have not seen Jelani Forbes since then. Something to keep an eye on. Forbes has scored the only goal, well, no, that's sorry, the first goal of the spring season on Monday in that 1-0 win versus Davidson.
Oscar Sears has gotten a run of play here in the second half as well, and he's looked solid. Won a couple of good fouls. His first touch has been very good as well, receiving the ball.
Now Boston College will try to knock it around. Sigurdarsson turning. Too far out front, Kajima. Boston College still with possession. And they'll move it to the left side to Rose. Some confusion here, but it looks like we'll have some substitutions.
Now playing for the Eagles, number 27, Alex Mielis.
Alex Mielis back in, Beto Luna out. Mielis, who started in the outside mid position, appeared in 13 games and 8 starts in 2019. Actually, his first career start was against Wake Forest back in 2019 up at Newton, Mass. Forbes now in, Oliver out.
Wake has gotten a bit foul happy here in midfield, and again, I talked about it earlier, that 3 at the back system clogs the midfield, and that has been what has allowed Boston College to hold a lion's share of possession and to win a number of fouls. It's been very good tactically from Boston College and head coach Bob Thompson.
ELS, a little message to Forbes as they bark back and forth between each other. These two sides are not very fond between each other. You can see it on the pitch. But Alcazar into plenty of space. Threads it through to Hernandez, and Hernandez up ahead to Rona. Forbes coming on late.
Yeah.
Kajima heading it up. Holcomb, and a lot of traffic looking to turn and put one on frame. Can't make the turn.
Holcomb is fed on scraps today. He's had precious few chances up there in front of net. That Boston College defense has focused on Kyle Holcomb through the middle.
A misplayed ball there. I'm not sure what the exact play was there. Maybe someone was going to run on it, just a heavy touch and out of bounds. But Wake Forest goes all the way to the attacking third. And yet another opportunity wasted. The clock now becoming an issue. Under 11 and a half to go. Deacons trailing the Eagles 2-1. Conradson. Shapiro Thompson. 1v1 with Escribano. The back line is not going to challenge Holcomb. You see them not coming all the way to the midline. Taken away by Kajima. Swallen. Very confident in his feet. Escribano. Looking for the service ball. Rose right at the touch line. Keeps it in. And Susky looking to do a tightrope move. It'll go out of bounds and a throw in for the Eagles. 10 minutes now. Wake Forest trailing Boston College 2-1.
There are 2 defenders every single time Jake Swallen gets on the ball. He has been choked out of this game here in the second half by BC.
Slim pickings for Coach Muse on his bench. He has to rely on players that were expecting to get few minutes, now to go full force, go the full 90. In the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament, the Deacons did not have 11 players because of contact tracing. Hernandez in the middle of the pitch. Rula had plenty of time on Monday night. Has not been allowed that much time here in this match. Short throw in. It'll be out on Mieles. No, they're going to say it's out on Hernandez. What do you think, Kyle? I mean, from our angle from that shot, which we're seeing is the camera, I believe one of the best in the business, David Fields. Looked like it was off the boot of Mieles, but
Yeah, it was a little close. Either way, it was a bang-bang touch there. That was my first reaction as well. Referee has a completely different angle.
they're there.
Yeah.
We're 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Very impressive first game for Boston College. Started off rocky. A goal in the 9th minute by Swallen gave the Deeks a 1-0 lead. And Boston College settled down.
Great ball.
They lead 2-1. Forbes right at the byline, puts it across. They say he's offside.
Offside flag has crushed Wake Forest today. They just cannot keep their attackers on the right side of that defensive line.
And I wish we had the special computer and angles they do of the EPL. All we see is 14 making a run down the line and the ball.
You know, Ty, I have to disagree with you
Yeah, you
there.
don't like that?
The way that it's gone so far in the Premier League, that they've done with the offside technology, I'm not so sure I wish that on this game right now.
Well, there's the scoring summary. So it was in the 8th minute, Swallen got the first goal of his season. 40th minute, Sigurdarsson had the equalizer, and then the early goings of the second half, Conradson made it 2-1, and that's where we're sitting. Forbes goes down. Mieles and Forbes have kind of gone at it as of late. And a yellow card given to Alex Mieles.
Boston College yellow card, number 27, Alex
Not scared to put contact on any player. Boston College, a very physical team. Mieles goes hard at Forbes. Let's take a look at this once again.
Yeah, it's just been an accumulation of fouls, I think, from Mieles there on the yellow card more than anything. Good ball forward. Oh, what defending. That is spectacular defending by Victor Souza. We have talked about his potential in this Boston College team all night. Obviously, it got a little chippy earlier on, but that is just acrobatic defending on a long ball that could have caused problems 2-on-2, and he somehow made contact with the half overhead kick and ended that chance for Wake Forest.
Rona trying to position himself in front of the defender, and it was poked away. Now Boston College on the attack. .620 remain in the second half. 2-1, Boston College with the lead. Mieles 1v1 with Jelani Forbes. Those two are not really friendly with each other.
Here's that defensive play by Souza. Excellent job. If that ball falls in line for Holcomb, he can either take a shot first time from a tight angle or maybe even back heel, because I believe Rona was in the area as well. That was a 2-on-1, maybe a 2-on-2 breakaway chance on an excellent long ball, and Souza just somehow cut it out by the tippy toes of his right foot.
Boston College will have 6 games in this spring season. The next game will be at Pitt. Pitt, who lost to Carolina 3-0. Carolina team that lost to Liberty. Wake Forest on the attack. Forbes into space. Forbes took his time. It was off of Mieles. And a whistle blown. And I'm not quite sure what the call is.
I think the referee says that somehow that went over the end line for a corner, which is fascinating because it looked for all the world like Gardner kept it from going out of play. We'll see if Wake Forest can capitalize on this. Time ticking down.
This is where you would want to have Tubbs in there. Tall target. Tubbs is out for this game. Here's the service ball. Here's the rip and a goal by Kajima. Oh my goodness. How on earth did he put that on frame? It's 2-2.
Pick that out. Jose Kajima. We talked about all the freshmen on the field for Wake Forest. How about the young guy from Yokohama, Japan, Jose Kajima? What a volley. Got it to loop up, and then the topspin yanked it back down like a 12-6 curveball from Clayton Kershaw. The right foot on this one just tucks it inside the right side of the post. Gardner couldn't see it through the traffic, had no time to react towards the end. That is brilliant.
Kajima already running to the flag, knowing that was it. He knew how great that felt. It's 2-2. A Deacon team that was running on fumes. Kajima comes up in a clutch situation here, tying it 2-2 with just under 5 minutes to go. His first goal of the season in the 85th minute.
And now you wonder which team is going to use this as fuel. What happens from here on out? Can anyone pick out a winner in the last 5 minutes? If not, how does overtime look? Because Wake had started to turn the screw there for the last 5 or 10 minutes, but both teams look relatively gassed, Ty. This could be a fascinating finish to this game.
Yeah, you could just see the energy level just seeping out of these players on the pitch. This is a very, very large field. Swallen and Sigurdarsson going at it. Swallen kind of smiling. Swallen started the scoring affair with a goal in the 8th minute. Boston College settled in, made it 2-1 early in the second half. Things look to be all setting up perfectly for Boston College with a 2-1 victory, the same scoreline as it was in 2019. Well, Jose Kajima had other plans. A volley in the equalizer. It's 2-2. Three and a half to go in regulation. Rose.
Rona has to be careful here on a yellow card.
This will be out of bounds and a throw in for Wake Forest.
Excellent defending there by David Rona. That is what you like to see. We talked about earlier in the first half, Sigurdarsson getting high in the air and clearing one out of his own box with his head. Here, again, a striker in Rona doing some good defensive work. Obviously got to be careful on the yellow card there, but didn't commit the foul, stayed accurate with his tackles, worked a 1-on-2 and won the ball back for Wake Forest here with 3 minutes to go.
Not the ideal place for Hernandez to lose the ball. Escorbano and Sigurdarsson chasing after it. They will call a corner kick, I think. Is that right, Kyle?
Yeah, I think that's what Escorbano is arguing here. I didn't look like he got a touch there. We'll see what the call here is. I think the referee pointed, yeah, he's going to give a corner. Oh, it's a foul.
Free kick. They called a foul on Escorbano. So here's a short corner. A field hockey term, right?
Yeah.
For a chance for Boston College.
They've taken advantage of one set piece already. Look for that big man, 23. Ben Alcazar on him again.
23 on 23, and you see the height difference. Here's the in-swinger. And a whistle blown, and we should have a foul. Looks like Rona went down Foul on Boston College. Deacons with urgency. They want to get down the pitch and win this before the final whistle of regulation. Holcomb. Kajima switching fields to the right. Plenty of space. Escribano up ahead to Rona. Rona cuts it back. Rona with 120. Kajima with a game winner! If it stands!
Wow, he caught Garner falling the wrong way. I believe Garner thought he was going to go far post, just took a guess, and Kajima just slow rolled it inside the near post. An unlikely hero for Wake Forest, Jose Kajima, the 85th minute equalizer and the 88th minute winner. My goodness.
One start for him. And that game was the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament, and 11 players were not able to play. He had 10 appearances, he had 8 appearances, and he gets 2 huge goals against Boston College.
Oh, he caught Garner just flushing over from the near post to try and cover the middle. He quick pitched him. I don't think Garner expected the shot to come that quick. I think he expected Kajima to feed someone else through. Instead, Jose just passed it into the back of the net with the goalkeeper coming back from that corner. Had nothing doing there with his body moving in the opposite direction. That is brilliant vision by Jose Kajima. May have just won it for Wake Forest.
He dons the number 16, who 2 pros used to have that number. Ian Harkes and Omir Fernandez. Kajima with a brace and 40 seconds away from getting the game winner and stealing this from Boston College. Kajima will just clear it.
Excellent tackle by Jelani Forbes there as well to steal the first ball, and then Kajima snatches it off a Boston College player a couple seconds later. This Wake Forest team giving all it has here in the final 15 minutes.
Whistle blown and a free kick for Wake Forest. Clock is clearly on their side. Countdown, a heartbreaker for the Eagles, as it looked like it was won until
referee's
number
asking
16
for a stoppage here on the clock.
Came on the pitch. The referee will add a couple seconds to stopping play. Wake Forest will take their time in this free kick situation. Of course, Coach Muse wants this over with. The Deacs are 224 wins, or have 224 wins at Spry Stadium. They're 9 seconds from 225. Into the corner it'll go. Boston College will run out of time. And the Deacs come back with the foot of Jose Kajima, a brace, in the final minutes of the second half. Gives Wake Forest a 3-2 thrilling victory over rival Boston College.
An absolute